Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Krabby Patty Maya. Thanks for the suggestion, Maya. You asked, what's the difference between shrimp and prawn? Ah, yes, one of life's great culinary confusions. You're at a seafood restaurant, staring down a menu that lists both shrimp and prawns, and you're thinking, wait, am I paying extra for a longer shrimp? Well, strap in, because today we're settling this crustacean conundrum once and for all. Right here on Explaining Everything. Okay, first things first. Yes, shrimp and prawns look incredibly similar. Both are small, pinkish, and have enough legs to make you question evolution. But scientifically, they're not the same. Think of them as distant cousins who happen to show up at the same barbecue. Shrimp belong to one biological group called Pleotiemata, while prawns belong to another, Dendrobranchiata. Yeah, I know. Those sound like ancient dragon names, not dinner options. Now, in everyday speech, the mix-up gets worse. In the United States, almost everyone calls them shrimp, no matter what species it actually is. In the UK, Australia, and parts of Asia, people tend to say prawn. So depending on where you are, you might be eating the same thing under a different name, which makes you wonder, who started this seafood version of the Spider-Man pointing meme? Basically, shrimp and prawn aren't culinary opposites. They're regional word wars wrapped in shells. But when we dig deeper, literally into the seafloor, the real differences start showing up. All right, science mode on, but still fun. Let's look at their bodies. The first difference? Gills. Shrimp have plate-like gills, while prawns have branching ones. Not that anyone's checking gill shape while eating a cocktail platter, but it's true. Next up, body shape. Shrimp have a curved body, like they're perpetually doing sit-ups. Prawns? Straighter and a bit more chill. They've got that laid-back, I'm on vacation posture. And here's a cool one. Legs and claws. Shrimp have one pair of claws that are larger than the rest. Prawns, though, have 3 pairs of claws that are roughly equal in size. It's like prawns went shopping and said, I'll take 3 of those, thanks. Finally, the overlap. Literally. The way their body segments overlap is different. On shrimp, the second segment overlaps the first and third, giving them that curved look. On prawns, each segment neatly overlaps the one behind it, like well-stacked dominoes. So next time you're eating seafood, you can casually drop, this prawn's thoracic segment alignment is immaculate. Everyone will hate you, but you'll be right. Here's where things get really different. Their lifestyle. Shrimp are the adventurous ones. They mostly live in salt water, oceans, seas, and coastal areas. They're the world travelers of the crustacean community. Prawns, on the other hand, are more of the homebody type. They prefer fresh water, rivers, lakes, and estuaries. Basically, if shrimp are at the beach, prawns are chilling by the riverbank with a lemonade. Their habitats even influence their taste and texture. Shrimp tend to have a firmer, slightly sweeter flavor. Prawns, being freshwater creatures, often taste a little more delicate and sometimes meatier. But don't quote me on that. Flavor also depends on cooking method and whether you've just drowned them in garlic butter like a civilized human. And size. Yes, prawns usually run bigger. That's why some people assume prawns are just big shrimp. Not wrong visually, but scientifically inaccurate. Still, if you're at a buffet and you see something massive labeled jumbo shrimp, well, congratulations. You've entered the most confusing oxymoron in food history. So, if shrimp and prawns are so different, why do restaurants and packaging make it sound like they're interchangeable? Because humans, as a species, apparently love chaos. In North America, shrimp is the default word. You can find prawn on fancy menus, but it usually just means bigger shrimp. Meanwhile, in the UK, prawn is used for pretty much everything. Australians? They've turned it into a national slogan. Throw another prawn on the barbie, even though half the time they're talking about shrimp. This confusion dates back to colonial times, when different English-speaking countries adopted different seafood terms. The British brought prawn to their colonies, while Americans preferred shrimp. No one sat down to unify the terminology, because clearly the world had more pressing issues than crustacean semantics. So, next time someone tells you there's a real difference based on what it's called, remind them that even scientists can't get everyone to agree on what's dinner and what's linguistics. So, after all that, what's the real difference between shrimp and prawns? Biologically, quite a few. Different gills, different legs, different family trees. But when it comes to your dinner plate, it often comes down to where you are and what you call it. If you're in the US, you're eating shrimp. In the UK or Australia, you're eating prawns. But in most cases, you're basically eating the same type of crustacean, just under a different name, and possibly with a fancier price tag. So next time someone asks, "Is this shrimp or prawn?" you can confidently say, yes. If you enjoyed learning about this seafood identity crisis, drop a like, subscribe, and remember, no matter what you call it, they both go great with cocktail sauce. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.